He's the oldest driver on the Supercars grid, but not for much longer. He's just announced his retirement from full-time racing, and that will happen at this weekend's Coates Hire Newcastle 500. He is Jason Bright, who has had, to say the least, a mercurial career. Brighty, well, has been a lot of highs and a lot of lows, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean that's motorsport, isn't it? Yeah, we get into this game with you expect to make a career out of it, but you don't expect all the highs and lows, and it's got plenty of those for sure.
Okay, so just lay it out for us. Why are you quitting full-time racing now?
Plenty of reasons. You get asked quite a lot when you're the oldest driver when you're going to retire, and so it's on your mind a lot. I guess you always want to be out there. As a driver, you want to be competitive. You want to be up the front. This year's been good. We've made good progress. We've qualified in the top 10 more times than what I did last year. But I'm not battling for the podiums that I want to be, and it's hard to stay on the grid and be that competitive all the time. So I think the time's right. I've got plenty of other things on my plate at the moment with my business and my family, and I'd love to still be out there racing full time if I was out there and that was all I could concentrate on and be competitive, getting podiums and race wins. But when it's not possible, I don't want to be out there just making up the numbers.
When you've won races and big races and you've been a front runner, how difficult is it to come to the realisation that you just can't be up there anymore for whatever many reasons that may be because? Yeah,
I mean, it is hard for sure. I guess I still go to every race weekend, with the belief that this weekend we can make that next little step, and it's so close at the moment. No one's doing a bad job, you do, like I said, go to every weekend thinking, we could be on the money this weekend, and I go to this weekend thinking new track, I like new tracks. I think we can qualify in the top 10. If we've got the pace we had in New Zealand, we could snag a podium, and I'd love to go out on a high note like that, or even just being in the top 10. I think in this category, which is I still believe it's one of the most competitive categories in the world. If I can go out this weekend, and the last part of this year will be in the top 10, I think that's a pretty good way to go out.
You're 44, heading towards 45. Now, in the real world, you're still a young man, but in racing, getting on, is age a factor?
I think I'm driving, in the races, I'm driving as well as I ever have. This year, if there's anything that's probably suffered a little bit, compared to earlier in my career, it's qualifying. That said, there's still just little things in qualifying that aren't quite working for me, and we're making some changes this weekend, and we'll see how those go. You're always trying to improve that, and we've been in that window of 8th to 18th, which is a couple of tenths, and so it is extremely close in that area. That if you're not maximising the car for that one lap, you're not going to be in the top 10. So. Yeah, whether age is a factor. I think in the races, my race pace has been strong. I've been really happy with the race pace in the second half of this year. But you need the whole, box and dice at the moment to get podiums. You've got guys like Scott and Jamie that are on top of their game in qualifying. They're regularly qualifying up the front, and to get podiums, you've basically got to be right there with them, or Chaz, or Frosty, who are consistently in that top 5.
You must be confident, I would imagine, that you'll secure a pretty plum co-drive for the endurance races next year, if you're available. Do you expect to be, and do you expect to get a top drive?
I expect to be available. I know. It all depends on what teams are already locked away. Who's locked away their co-drivers. It is a pretty hot market out there these days, and if you've got good co-drivers, they're usually locked in for a couple of years. So there'll only be a certain number of seats available in top teams. I'd like to think we can be out there with a good drive, but at the end of the day, I want to go to that race and enjoy that race as well. So whatever team I'm with, I'll go there and enjoy doing the enduros.
Still plenty of years yet left for you as a co-driver to win another Bathurst 1000, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I think Richo's won more as a co-driver than what he's won as a main driver, and I think that's the beauty of the race these days. In the past, if you were a co-driver, you were in the co-driver car, and you weren't necessarily given a very good crack at it. Whereas, every car in every team there now goes on an equal footing, and so you've got a lot of drivers that can have a crack at winning it, as opposed to half the field like it was 10 years ago.
You signed a 2-year deal with Pro Drive Racing Australia to come and drive for the team, and brought your racing entitlement contract with you. But now it doesn't seem they want you anymore. What's going on?
Well, I'm not at liberty to say. There's an opportunity to move my licence on at the moment. I obviously didn't go in there, with that intention. I went in there with the intention of, leaving the licence there for a long time. But things change in the sport pretty quickly. Luckily there's plenty of other opportunities out there, to take my licence and run it out myself, or run it, within another team. So we'll just do what we've got to do and make sure there's a car on the grid.
The world and his wife pretty much knows who will end up at PRA next year in nominally your slot and what they're doing. It's become, from the outside, it looks messy. Disappointing that it's ended, that it looks like ending this way?
There's disappointment about it for sure. I certainly didn't go into that relationship with the intention of moving my licence. I went into it, expecting that we'd be able to build something for the long term for both of us. But like I said, things change. I'm moved on. I'm not too worried about that. We'll do what we've got to do to put a car on the grid and go out there, and that car will bang wheels with whoever's in car 56.
Back in 2005, you switched to Ford, went to what was then Ford Performance Racing, and that was part of a bigger deal that ended up with you setting up your own team, and that kind of ended in tears. And I often wonder, do you think things would have been different if you'd stayed at FPR, in 2007? Do you often wonder that? Do you wonder that?
Yeah, there's plenty of things that, when you look back on your career in hindsight, that you'd probably do differently. But hindsight's a awesome little power that we've got. When I made decisions about my career to go different directions, whether it was deciding to leave Stone Brothers and go overseas in 2000, whether it was moving from PWR to Pro Drive, to drive there, whether it was setting up my own team. I did all of those things because I don't want to die wondering. I didn't want to finish my career and think, I wish I had a go at trying to make it to IndyCar or F1, because that would be the last thing that I'd want to sit here wondering. When there's an opportunity with sponsorship and manufacturer backing to set up your own team, that's served me very well. It's served me well in not necessarily the ways of winning championships, but it's served me well, as something that I've enjoyed doing. Driving for my own team, having a license in this category. There's plenty of reasons why it's still been a good journey. In hindsight, if I had stayed at PWR and had a crack at 2005 trying to win a championship, it probably would have been a good year. If I had stayed at Pro Drive in 2007, we finished that year 2006 so strong, it probably would have been a good year, and subsequent years. But that wasn't to be. I had ambitions to do other things, and for me, a championship's not everything. I've enjoyed all the different teams I've driven for. So I don't have any regrets as far as any of that goes.
Well, Bridie, it's been a hell of a ride, hell of a career. Well done and good luck. for
Thanks,
the
mate.
weekend. See if you can finish on a high.
Cheers.